Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Skyon bringing you a Path of Exile video for the Forbidden Sanctum League. In this video, we're going to talk about my strength stacking Ascendant League starter. But before we do that, I would like to quickly introduce myself to the PoE community on YouTube. I have been playing Path of Exile for about 5 years, joining during the Legacy League. And over the course of 5 years, I probably sunk hundreds if not thousands of hours into the game, but that is not to say that I am what the community often refer to as the top 1%. Like, I do not race and push myself to unlock all the endgame content on the first day of the league, or I have zero impact on the economy or what the meta is. This is a place for me to just log in kind of after a full-time job and just enjoy blowing up some mobs. So the content that I'll be presenting on my channel might be more suitable for casual players like myself. So if you see yourself in that category, or even if you're not and you just want to feel like supporting the channel a little bit, feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel. So with that out of the way, we're gonna jump right in with the build, starting with the map showcase. I just have a T6 map here. It's nothing special, but I just used the weekend to complete the axe and I'm slowly progressing through my atlas. So let's just see what the build looks like in its current shape and form. And yeah, I am playing Cyclone at the moment, so if you know the playstyle is very simple. I just have my leap slam, which is my choice of movement, and I just hold down Cyclone and until things die. So let's see. And it is the beginning of the league, so I'm poor as hell, so please bear with me as I pick up all the small currency. And I am going to skip the Sanctum here. I did go into it a couple times to see what it is about. I haven't had too much chance to explore it yet, but my primary objective at the moment is to progress through the atlas. So I am going to probably looking at Sanctums more closely once I'm in mid-tier maps, higher yellow, maybe low reds, and I will definitely be making a content for you guys to let you know if it's profitable. Let's just pop this Legion here, and you might notice that it looks like there is some kind of explosions or pop going on here, but I do not have any source of explosion in the build. So once we're looking at the build more closely later, I will explain what it might be causing that. Trying to look for the boss. Did I miss? Oh, I see the top left corner there. I missed it. Okay, so the boss should be here soon. Okay, so on the boss, we're just gonna drop our totems, the Ancestral Protector and War Chief, to get their bonus. And we're just cycling around. And there you have it. So let's quickly go back to town to take a closer look at the build. So right now I am level 79 and we are rocking just north of 1k strength, and it really did not take too much to get to this point. I mean, if you look at my gear, first of all, I have this 6th link here. I just got this because it has the socket colors I need, and you can see there's no resistance because I did not need any resist from this slot to cap my resist, so that's good. And you know, it has 41 strength, which is gonna help out climbing higher with my strength. So you know, it's just something to get started with. It cost me 8C, and then I have the boots here with the max roll 18% increased strength and also the chaos res. This thing cost me 1C. The weapon, which is what I'm building around, this cost me 3C, and these rings are pretty useful early on for the, you know, obviously the all attributes go to the strength, but also it helps out with the intelligence and dexterity for the gem requirement, and they have good chunk of resist as well. So yeah, so these cost me 1C each as well, and this one I think it was just 1 elk. It's just to so that I can ignore any accuracy and the hit chance at the moment. So you know, I'm having 100% hit chance. And for the rest of the gear, you know, it's just life resist, whatever I need. These are just stuff that drop along the way. Also the flash, so they're pretty bad. So as you can see, the build is, I mean, the items are very like basic and cheap, like all put all together, maybe 15 chaos. Hitting the 1k strength with this and the passive tree, it really did not take too much, and there's a lot of room for improvement. So since we're talking about the items, you know, I do plan to use the Iron Fortress here. The helmet is going to be the Warlord helmet, I believe. It's with the elevated mod. Actually the non-elevated mod gives you accuracy equal to strength, and then the elevated mod would add the critical strike chance per strength. So that's going to allow me to go crit, and also allow me to take away the shield and replace it with obviously the red blade banner, because we have Battle Mage's Cry in the build. And you know, these slots here, the rings, the amulet, the belt, obviously you can get those with strength implicit and kind of smack some rage essences on them, and you know, and then if they have good life, some resist that you need with good chunk of strength, you know, it's really going to give a boost to this number right here. So that's the gear. And if we're looking at the gem setup, I have Cyclone, and I'm also linking to Shockwave. So during the map showcase, you might have seen the Shockwave popping off, and those are linked with fire penetration, LA damage, pulverize, and increased critical damage spore. This gem here is not giving me too much at the moment because my crit chance is pretty bad, but you know, this is the end game setup that I have in mind, and you know, once I have the helmet, it's going to contribute a lot more. My movement here with faster attack, leap slam, and life tap. These are my totem setup with the multiple totems, so you can have both of them to get both the attack damage and the attack speed bonuses. My auras are Blood and Sand, Defiance Banner, Determination, Purity of Elements, Here I have a cast 1 damage setup, Immortal Call, Wave of Conviction for the fire exposure and combustion to kind of support that and give extra minus fire res. And Battle Mage's Cry, Life Tap, Mark on Hit, and Assassin's Mark. And with some better gearing and maybe little bit more armor, you know, I'm gonna switch it out to Molten Shell, Foul Molten Shell, and that will be replacing the guard skill Immortal Call. So yeah, that's it for the gem setup. We're gonna look at the passive tree here. Now I went with Ascendant not because it is the best class for this build. It's simply because it is the class that I just felt like playing. So leveling this build, I was confident enough to do it as an attack build right away, and I was also confident that this weapon is pretty cheap, and I did manage to acquire this for 3C after Act 3 before Act 4 boss, I believe. And since then the story has been breeze because all we're doing is just going through here, and then I went down here to pretty much take all the strength node. And then the good thing about this is the strength will give you the damage and as well as also the life, so it really takes the pressure off of having to take like life nodes and, you know, damage nodes as you're going, so you can kind of travel and focus on the strength only. So I went here, and then this is where I got the node here and then the node here. This node used to be for strike skills only, where like for example you use a molten shell and it will strike an additional enemy, but this node now is giving you a free melee splash. So you know, initially I was worried the enemies that I'll hit will need to be within the reach of Cyclone and the shockwave, and that would only be my clear speed. But then thanks to this node, now they're doing area damage on top of these two, so I believe that is kind of like the pop explosion that you saw, and I think it's very good for, you know, it really helps a lot with the clearing, and I feel very satisfied while I'm mapping around. And you know, this one for the fire damage, of course, and then the masteries here for fire mastery and the attack mastery, you know, they give you, this one gives you attack damage per strength and this one fire damage per strength. So you know, it's just another added layer of damage increase for all the strengths you're gonna get. So I went here, I got the strength nodes here with the attribute mastery, and I pretty much ignored everything and went straight up here and got the aura, and then got the aura, and then pretty much ran this setup since the beginning. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I am now with strength, the concept of strength stacking as well as this weapon has been around for a long time, but in case you're not familiar with it, it is this weapon is giving you, that last mod says 4 to 7 fire damage per 10 strength. So with 1k strength I have here, is giving me 400 to 700 fire damage, and you can pretty much ignore the 46 to 111 physical damage that the weapon comes with. So this also means you do not use supports like melee physical damage support, and all those sources of physical damage as extra whatever element is kind of useless as well. So I'm talking about gems like hatred, and also the conversion does not play any role. So the good thing is, in case Cyclone is not a skill that you enjoy, you want to try another one, as long as it works with the mace, it doesn't matter. Even if the gem has like 50% physical damage converted to cold or whatever element, you can just ignore that and use the base fire damage from the weapon, and use that and then scale it from there. So yeah, so using the fire damage as the base damage and using masteries like these, you are just getting a whole bunch of strength as much as you can. And along with in my case, I'm gonna go for the crit, crit here, and I am going to take some ally damage over here. And I still have, wow, I have 0 jewel sockets, so that's something I need to work on. And then every time you feel like you're taking too much damage, your character is dying too much, feel free to throw in some life notes as you see fit. So pretty much everything is self-explanatory except for the Battle Mage's Cry. So with all this strength, and the only thing that you're pretty much wasting usually would be the 1% melee physical damage per 5 strength. And by the way, once you have the Iron Fortress, that bonus gets buffed to a 3% instead, so it's going to be much stronger. And in order to not waste that mod or that effect, one of the ways is to use the unique helmet Crown of Ice, which and then combine it with the Iron Will. So what's going to happen is all those melee physical damage is going to convert to a spell damage, and then the helmet will give you it will convert that increases to spell damage to a generic attack damage at 150% of the value. So that is a great stepping stone to kind of go into, but I have other places I would like to prioritize first, so that's not what I'm gonna do, or maybe I will. But yeah, 150% is huge. But then if you wanna scale that even further, what you do is you use this Battle Mage's Cry, which also has a similar effect, taking the spell damage applied to the attack damage, and by default you can see here is 25% value per 5 power up to a maximum 150. So if you have max power, then it's going to give you the same effect of Crown of Ice. But then for this one, you can use the Warcry buff notes here, 30% increase, 10%, and these two don't have it. So these two, and then you can also get a helmet enchant for the Battle Mage Cry buff effect, and then that's gonna give you a lot of damage. And also if you're using the Red Blade banner, which says you're gonna have the Warcry is going to have infinite power, then yeah, it is going to be a lot more damage than using Crown of Ice. Yeah, so that is kind of what my gear planning looks like. The gem setup we went over with, passive tree, with how I leveled. If you're curious about how the build performs during story, then my last video kind of shows you all the act bosses with this build, so you can see it. You can check out the video there. Other than that, I think that's about it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see a follow-up video, once I make more progress, I will try to release some more meaningful content. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can get notified when the new video is up. And yeah, other than that, I will see you in the next video.